This video is to teach you a little bit about the anatomy of the ear. The ear is divided into three parts. The external ear, which goes from the large visible part of the ear that's actually a collector of sound waves, all the way to right here, which is the tympanic membrane. All that's called the external ear. Okay, then going from here, where you see the three ear ossicles, and we'll look at those closer in a minute, then that's called the middle ear. The incus, malleus, and stapes are all in the middle ear, and then the rest of it beyond that, the vestibule and the cochlear and the semicircular canals, is the inner ear. So let's start with the external ear. That's this big portion which we call the external ear. It's also known as the pinna or the auricle. Pinna or the auricle. Then coming in from that through the external auditory meatus is the external auditory canal. You know that's in the temporal bone, and it's passing through the temporal bone, and this is called the bony labyrinth. You see all this tissue here is bone. And then it finally comes to the end of the external ear, terminating in what's called the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane is commonly called the eardrum. And you can see that now we're going on the other side of the tympanic membrane. We're in the middle ear now, because you can see two bones there, the incus and the malleus. The incus and the malleus. The incus is the bone connected to the tympanic membrane, and the malleus is the middle bone. Then we can't see the third bone because it's connected right here. See, that's the stapes. The stapes. And the stapes is connected to the oval window, of the inner ear, which there's three parts to the inner ear. The vestibule, which is in the middle, the cochlea down here, which looks like a snail. Oh my gosh, there's a snail in my ear. The first time I saw that in a textbook, I thought some poor soul got a snail in his ear. And then these three rings here are called the semicircular canal. They're all in the internal ear. Okay. Now what happens is sound waves are collected by this auricle, and they pass through the external auditory meatus, through the external auditory canal. They make the tympanic membrane vibrate, which in turn makes the incus and the malleus and the stapes vibrate. The stapes, because it's up against the oval window, makes the fluid. There's fluid in the inner ear, and that fluid is in the cochlea, it's in the vestibule, it's in the semicircular canals, so that vibration is transferred into that fluid, makes little waves. Now in the cochlea, that's really where the hearing goes on. You have hair cells that vibrate when that fluid wave comes in, and they convert that motion, those hair cells, convert that motion into action potentials, which go down the in the vestibulocochlear nerve, cranial nerve number 8, to the temporal lobe of the cerebral hemisphere, and then you can hear. See? The other function of the inner ear is for your balance. When people get inner ear infections, they lose their balance. And the reason why they do, these things right here are the semicircular canals. They're filled with fluid, and they have little otoliths. They're like sand grains that are in there. And so when you move this way, those otoliths will go like that. When you move this way, the otoliths go down. When you go forward, the otoliths go back. And so when they hit the walls of these semicircular canals, you can tell which way you're going. And see, there's three of them because there's three planes that we live in. You can go left or right. You can go up or down. You can go forward or backward. And so that's what those do. They give you the sense of direction, and balance is connected with that. Okay, so let's review what we've seen. Okay, we know that what? The external ear, this pinna or auricle, collects the sound waves. It goes through the external auditory meatus, and it makes the tympanic membrane vibrate. That's connected to the incus and the malleus, and they're connected finally to the stapes, and the stapes then is connected to the what? The oval window of the vestibule. There's fluid in there, makes it vibrate. That fluid, when it hits the cochlea is the snail-looking part. There's hair cells in there, and those waves of fluid make those hairs vibrate, and then they make the hair cells transform that into an action potential, which goes in this nerve, the vestibulocochlear nerve, which then helps you to hear, causes you to hear. And the other important part of the inner ear are these things, the semicircular canals. They're also filled with fluid, and they have little otoliths, like little grains of sand, and they can help you tell you whether you're going left or right or up or down or forward or backward. So I hope this video helps you to understand a little bit about the anatomy and function of the ear.